Hey bucket list buddies, welcome to another episode of my bucket list day. So today is kind of a how-to and maintenance tips and tricks type of thing. But I'll give you a hint, it has to do with both full-timers and part-time RVers. So it's an important topic and one that you've got to do about every quarter for you full-timers, and for those of you that are part-timers, I would say you have to do it every single time you pull your rig out. But we'll get into it right after this. Okay, welcome back. So let me first give you a couple updates. A lot of you have asked about Joanne and the surgery she's been going through. I will tell you she was in the hospital a couple more days than we planned. The doctors wanted to just make sure everything was taken care of. So she is home resting, actually inside there taking a little nap right now. Still in a lot of pain, but we're managing that with some proper pain medication. We'll fill you in on all the details of what she's going through in a later episode, but stay tuned for that. So, what are we talking about today? Well, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing some maintenance, RV maintenance, and some tips and tricks. So let's dive right into it. So today we're going to be talking about utilities, primarily water. So it's been some time since I talked about water on your RV, but as we all know, it's an important factor to make sure we have clean water. And for those of you that have been watching, you know I kind of go a little overboard here. I want to make sure I have great drinking water coming out of my taps, as well as good clean water, soft water, not hard water for the washing machines, as well as when we shower. And we drink out of the tap and make ice with it. So we want to make sure our water is the highest quality possible. In fact, those of you that want to go back and look at the other episode, I'll post it up here. It talks about how we actually have better quality water than you can buy out of the store, out of their little water bottles, even spring water. So, but I also have made some changes over the last year in some of the products that I've used. As you know, I test all products out. And oftentimes I try them, see if I like them. If not, I return them and get something else. So in the links below, we're going to show you or talk to you about the updated products that we have. One of the biggest ones is, and this is my backup one, is a flexible water hose. Now this is a 50 footer, and this water hose, again, I'll have the links below. What's nice about it is it rolls up nice and flat and compact. For those of you that have the other water hose that I used to use, and I'll show it right here, that's a fantastic hose and it served me well, and I still use it, but primarily used as a backup right now. And this one here, I use this style for the most part all the time. I like this because when I get to cooler weather, the other one, as you can see, is a hassle to roll up. And has this ever happened to you? Hence why I went to the flexible hose. It has eliminated that problem completely. So the other thing that you have to have is, let me make sure I get the right one here. And whether you're full-time or part-time, you first want to have a water filter. And this is a water filter that's coming right out of the spigot. It's the first one that I use. In fact, I'm going to show you a schematic here of my entire water diagram. It's a water diagram on how my system is set up, but you don't have to have this type of an elaborate system. All you really need is the water filter, the hose. You're going to need the water regulator, which the one I've been using for years seems to be the best one out there, at least for my use. It's very reliable. It's never let me down. It's performed very, very well. Again, the links for all of these things are down below here for all these products. The second thing you're going to need is, highly recommend, and you'll see I've already got it on this hose, and that is these quick disconnects for garden hoses. They just slide on and slide together like that. So there's no more threading or like that. So that's how that guy works. So again, here's the female end, here's the male end. Just push the collar back, it slides right in, and you're done. Now, in my system, I also have 3 other filters. So as you all know, I have the 20 micron filter, which I just showed you, that comes out of the spigot. Then as soon as I get into my coach, I have in the water bay the 5 micron filter, and that goes in before I even get to the pressure regulator and the flow meter. And as you guys know in the other video, if you want to watch it, I also have a smart water valve on there, so if there's ever a leak anywhere in the coach, the water sensors pick that up, immediately tells my smart system to shut the water off, and it automatically turns the water off. And you'll see that here and show that here. So that system works beautifully. Fortunately, it's never had to be tripped, but I did have a power go out, and I've got it set up to each time the power goes out, it shuts the water off just in case there's some other issue. So the only pain in the butt there is you got to go back outside the water bay, hit the button, and it turns itself back on. Okay? So then also, after you do the 5 micron filter, I go to, as you know, I have the water softener on board, the pre-filter for the water softener. I've got this filter. This is a 1 micron filter that I put into that filter. And then lastly, I have the half micron, 0.05 microns, that I put in the final filter before it goes into my RV. Again, in the schematic there, you'll see all of these things. So water is a very important thing to me, and it should be for you as well. Having bad water makes an RV trip really, really uncomfortable. If you just use it to wash the car, take a shower, things like that, wash your dishes, I guess it's okay. But if you're like me, that's full-time, and I think everybody that I've ever met that's full-time, they want quality water. Now, these systems, as I mentioned, whether you're full-time, part-time, are mandatory. If you're a part-timer, you use these water filters, you can probably use these on a couple trips. But when you take them out and then you put them in your bin or you put them wherever you are while your RV's in storage, they're going to get moldy inside. So then you basically got to replace them all the time. I highly recommend you never store them in this manner. You always store them in this manner if you're going to do that. That way the water will drain out. Okay? Don't put caps on them, because all the cap is going to do is let mold create and bacteria build up inside there. Let the air go through it, let the water drain completely out. The ones that are in your canisters, if you're going to be meticulous about it, you want to take your canisters apart, and I'll have a little clip here to show you how to do that. But you take these canisters apart and you pull the filter out and you leave that canister upside down, let the filter stand in the upright position as well, and let it store there. Again, this is for all part-timers. This is how you store these filters. And the same thing goes for the final filter in my canister. If you've got one like that, you do the same thing. If you do have a water softener on your system and you are a part-timer, I highly recommend that you do one of two things. Either you take the time to drain the water softener completely. Otherwise, again, you're going to get bacteria and mold buildup. The other way you can do that is you turn it upside down, let the water drain out, and you put screens on there so the little pellets don't fall out, because those little pellets are important for keeping everything out. And that'll dry everything out and let it sit there. So that's one of the things that I recommend you do. Now, if you're like me and you're a full-timer, then all of those types of tips and tricks really don't matter, because you're moving around every day or every week, how often you move, and you're constantly flowing water through all of this stuff. So now for me, I replace or recharge my system about every 1,600 gallons. And I flush my system, I flush my water softener, I change all of these filters. That takes me about, I would say, about 3 months. Sometimes a little less if Joanne's in there doing a lot of laundry and we're going out hiking and getting very dirty and doing a little extra laundry, and it's a little less than 3 months. But about every 3 months, we're replacing everything. We replace all 4 filters that I have in the system, as well as recharge my water softener. The hose, This hose is a fairly new hose that I started using. I don't know what the life expectancy of these hoses are. If anybody out there that's watching knows, put a little comment below. I'd love to know. But so far it's been about a month, about 2 months, and it's holding up well. It gets a little dirty. Again, this is my backup one. And you probably say, why do you have a backup one? I have a backup, and sometimes I have 2 and 3 backups. As I mentioned, when you're out and about and something fails, you don't want to be without, and sometimes you might be in an area where you can't get anything shipped to you, so you always want to have a backup. Which leads me to the other part of our water system, and that is the exit, our gray and black waters, on when you when you have to get the water out of your coach and drain system. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here is I'm going to show a little clip here of my macerator and how that works. And there's a whole nother video on that if you want to go back to that, and I'll list that here as well if you want to look at that video. But I use a macerator. I don't do the stinky slinky. It's just a messy, gross system. I like everything clean. I like everything easy. So if you're like me and you want it clean and easy, again, if you're full-time or part-time, this works the same. So this one's never been used, but I'll show you. This is my macerator. This is my backup macerator. I always have one in case the first one fails, which the first one I've had for 2 years now has not failed. It's working perfectly. But this is my backup unit. The macerator goes on the exit pipe, and I pump my black water and gray water right through that. And it goes right into a garden hose. And I'll show you that here in the image. And it pumps right into the sewage. So no stinky slinky. You just hit a button and away you go. Obviously you got to open the valve and away you go. But the other important thing you need to have, and I highly recommend this, and you'll see why here in a moment, because I'm going to show a little video.
Fire in the hole!
But you need to have a Veltura gate. This is a gate that you put at your exit, and I'll pull that open. There, it's open, and then you pull it closed. You want to have this at your very last exit, because if those other valves fail at any time, this is your savior. Because when you pull that cap off, the cap off your pipe, and those pipes are leaking, obviously it's coming out on you, and there's no way to stop it. So if it's leaking, I always open them up and I listen. If I got anything trickling out, this guy's stopping it. Okay? So you want to have that. And let's talk about the covers for a second. Now, the covers that come up with them have these typically little birds on there where you can just spin them right off. I like this kind that has a little handle built into it. I hope you can see that. It's much easier to take on and off, especially when it's raining out or it's wet or even cold out. These are easier to grab a hold of than the other kind where you have to really just grab the little tongs that are on the top and spin it off. So these are cheap. You can find these on Amazon. I think I bought a pack of 3 of them. Again, I have backups of everything for $8 or something like that. It's really, really inexpensive. So that is the water systems. So a lot of people ask, how often do I change these types of things? As I mentioned, the pump is the same pump I've had for 2 years now, and no problems or issues with it. This system, this is actually my backup one, so yeah, I have a backup of this too. I've got one on the coach right now, and it's really just the spin-on one that I can take on and off. This one's the kind that you have to actually cut the pipe and glue this one on. And this is, I didn't put permanent on there because just in case you got to take it off, then you're cutting pipe and pipe and pipe and pipe. But I have this one as a backup if I ever need to. I could buy another type, but I've had this one sitting in my bin for a couple of years. It's always there as a backup in case I need it. But it's a must-have. That's something you got to do. So if you're a full-timer, part-timer, these are things that you're always going to need. Again, if you don't want to have a big filtration system like I have to have the quality water that I've got, that's totally fine. I even have little water testers. I test my water periodically, and when it gets down to a certain level, still very good water, but because we're particular about having our water perfect, I change out filters when the water gets to a certain level. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with the microns of the different things that come up in your water that makes it not perfect, but still fine. Now, for you newbies out there, everybody says, well, what do I need to have to start off with? Well, again, I've got a video on that too, so I'm going to link that right here. Here, there, here. Somewhere here, you're going to have that. And actually, it's up here. So I'll link that video there of all the things you're going to need as a newbie for your water system. But you're going to need the hose. You're going to need a filter. Again, I highly recommend these quick disconnects, which, by the way, these quick disconnects is kind of funny. I talk about these all the time, and for those of you that follow me know this. But ever since I started talking about them, they're selling out on Amazon all the time. People are texting me or leaving me a message on Facebook or the comments said, hey, we click your link and they're sold out. So I'm always going on Amazon and finding this brand, because I find this brand to be the best, finding other suppliers that have this brand. And there are a few out there that have it, so then I switch the link to that so that everybody doesn't have to worry about things being out of stock. In fact, I think all total there's been just under 20,000 of these things sold. I don't know if it's from my video, but ever since I started talking about them, everybody's selling out of these things. They're in high demand. I might even get some. Maybe I should start buying them and selling them off Amazon, put my brand, my logo on it. Let me know what you think about that idea. At any rate, I buy them, I lose them a lot, I give them away a lot. In fact, if you've ever met me in an RV park and I talk about them, you'll see I'll have a few on hand. I'll say, here's a set for your hoses. Try them, you're going to love them. Oh, one other thing. So, as you know, on Facebook, I've started a group, and we'd like to communicate with you guys on the group. So honestly, I haven't used it much. I posted some videos on there, made a few comments, but would like to hear you guys' opinions on a lot of things, on what we're doing, what we're talking about, and where you'd like us to go next, and topics you'd like to see. I'd like to go to the group and just leave your comment right there. Just go to My Bucket List Day on Facebook and just click the group, and you want to become a member, and I'll just go ahead and accept you. After you answer the couple of simple questions, we'll go ahead and accept you, and then we can start communicating that way. We're also going to have some updates there about Joanne on the group, so if you want to get more detailed information on that, you can. And next, you're also going to start to see some little shorts. And what are shorts? Not things that you wear, but shorts are little video shorts. So I'm going to be doing little video shorts on all sorts of categories, on things like the quick disconnects, or these filters, or things like that. And these are going to be 60 seconds or less, little updates and tips and tricks about RVing, but also they're going to be funny stuff, things I came across on the internet, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and I thought it's hilarious, so I want to share it. So you'll also see it on the group page on Facebook, on My Bucket List Day, as well as I'm going to do little postings here on YouTube of these little shorts. They're hilarious. So these shorts are not only going to be informative, but they're also going to be some funny stuff on there. And then there's also, coming up, Joanne's putting together a little contest, and it's going to be a little dance contest. And it's going to be a little 15-second, 20-second little thing where we're going to be doing some shorts and some dancing. And I don't know what she has planned. All she said is, she told me to get ready to learn how to dance a little better, because we're going to be doing some little dance skits, or skits of some other kind. So those should be hilarious and fun to do as well. So stay tuned for those. That's it for this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that little bell to let you know when I'm releasing another video. And most importantly, leave a comment below. That helps the algorithm. Plus, I love communicating with you guys. So please leave a comment below. Go to Facebook, leave comments there. Go to the group page on Facebook. You can leave comments there. That's it on this episode. Thanks for watching.